Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday tonight and I am here with another sketch challenge. I was looking at the numbers and I'm actually, give or take a few, because I'm not sure I've got the numbers exactly right, but I'm typed 206 on this one, so that's a lot of sketches that I've been doing on Tuesday nights. I hope you enjoy them. This will go live on social media at about 7 o'clock. So if you miss any of the measurements as I'm going through or want to grab it and make it later, you'll find it on my Facebook page, group, and also on Instagram. I still am seeming to have some issues with seeing comments. I'm just kind of refreshing Facebook. I don't seem to see comments on Facebook, but I see comments if you're watching through my YouTube channel. So any apologies to you if you're watching on Facebook, because I don't seem to get those ones. Particularly, actually, I think it's my Facebook group that I'm not getting the messages in. Not sure why. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to give you another sneak peek of one of the products. I think I used this the other day. Yes, I did. I used it the other day. It's called Gallery Blooms. The whole suite is called Beautiful Gallery. It's got absolutely, hey Holly, absolutely stunning designer series paper. I'm going to use one of the pieces of it today. Two bundles, some gorgeous, gorgeous embellishments, and an embossing folder. So it's a kind of a mega suite that will be released in May, but I have to say it's quickly becoming one of my favorites. It's quite vintagey looking, the designer series paper, so that's kind of fun. Hey Allie, welcome from Australia. All right, I am going to switch over to my desktop and we'll get started making this card. All right, so here's the sketch to start with. And you know, if you saw the sketch, if you get my newsletter, you would have seen this sketch already, if you've read the newsletter I sent out today, because I do include the sketch that's in it. And it's I don't know if you have the catalog and you've seen this bundle, maybe this is obvious to what this purple layer is, but it's the frame. So you've got a base that's 5.5 by 8.5 or 4.25 by 11, your choice of which way you want it to go, portrait or landscape. This layer that is here, I've said 3 7/8 by 5.25. I actually just cut, so I'm using a frame. So if you are using the frame that comes in the Gallery Blooms, I just cut it 4 inches by 5.5 or 5.25, and it fits. If you don't have that, the way to make this frame is to cut a layer, which is the purple layer, 3 7/8 by 5.25, and then cut another piece that is maybe 1/4 of an inch smaller than that. It could just be basic white and layer it on top, and you will get the same look. Make it a little bit smaller, and you'll get the the more of the frame showing. So that's a way to make a frame if you don't have the die to cut it. So then I've said a shape that's about 2.5 by 4, which is, you probably can't see that very well. There you go. You can see the flower in the center. So any shape that will go into that center, and then a piece of basic white for a sentiment, or whatever color you want, and whatever size fits. I actually didn't say what size, I just said size to fit sentiment. Okay, so let me show you. So this is the Gallery Blooms bundle. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at these gorgeous flowers. And then there are dies, of course, to cut out the flowers. The images are at 90%, so they're a little bit bigger when you cut them out. So you have all of the dies to cut out the flowers. And then you've got some standalone dies, which are always nice because you can put some sprigs and leaves behind the flowers. That's my, oopsie. Goes there. Okay, so those are them. And then you have this amazing die that cuts out frames. Actually cuts out 2 frames and then a center. So I've already gone ahead and cut out this out of early espresso. And so when you cut it out, you end up with 3 pieces that look like that. So you can use whichever size of frame you want, or you could do it like that and put that in the middle. Up to you. It's very cool because it cuts it out. I save all the middle pieces if I'm using the outer frame, or my outer frame if I'm using the insides, and you can use them on future cards. Okay, so then the other bundle, and I'm only using the embellish or the sentiments in this one, is called Beautiful Motifs. And to be honest, I can't even remember what the dies look like for this one. I really have to play with them. But I love it for the sentiments, and then you've got these two that'll fit, or you can stamp on the inside of the card, or if you wanted to add some detail, just kind of texture behind. I love that. This is a really great sentiment stamp set. And I will have to pull out, definitely will have to pull out the dies that go along with this, because for the life of me I actually can't remember what they look like. Okay, so let's put this in, check these off and bring in. So this is the piece of designer series paper that I'm using. Just gonna grab, I've actually got, so you can see this is the 6x6, quite vintagey. Hey, Connie, welcome. Very vintagey looking. This one you could just frame in a 6x6 frame all by itself. You don't have to do anything to that one. And on the other side, you've kind of got a mossy meadow. Look how vintagey these are. Just so cool. I love this. This is the damask. Oh, I didn't show you the embossing folder that goes with it. So this is called a damask. Damask Designs embossing folder. It is not a 3D embossing folder, so it's of the thinner variety, but puts a very subtle, nice pattern, kind of like that, onto your cardstock. So I'll just show you some of these. So lots of lovely vintagey views. It is absolutely stunning paper, especially if you love that vintage look to your cards. Look at these. Perfect for taking one of these frames that you can cut out, because you don't have to do much more than that. Put a sentiment on it and you're good to go. It's just so amazing. And then just lovely, lovely colors. Again, some trees with leaves. I guess it goes that way. Just some background pieces, which is always nice. This is the one I'm using. I love these roses. And then I'm using this one. It's very subtle, kind of patterned. I think it's balmy blue. It might be cloud cover, but I don't have cloud cover ink yet, because it's not available until they solve the quality problem with it. Again, it'd be another beautiful kind of just paint. Look at this one. This is so pretty. Mossy meadow. And there's a bunch more. This is kind of a city plan. Quite English. It looks like the UK countryside to me. There are other ones here that I didn't pull, but lots of really gorgeous designer series paper. Okay, so let's pull my paper trimmer, and I've got a piece. I love brown and blue together, especially like a robin's egg blue or a balmy blue. So I've got a piece of early espresso, and I've cut it 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So this will be a portrait card. So as always, this is the side I've scored on, so fold into the mountain or the raised line and give it a good burnish with your bone folder. And then, as I said, I already went ahead and cut out the frame. I'm going to use the largest size frame. And I also went ahead and cut out a piece of designer series paper, and this is that one with that really subtle kind of blue pattern. And this is cut 3 inches by 5 1/4, and it fits perfectly. Just a little bit of overlap behind my frame, so you're not wasting too much designer series paper, so you can get 2 of these pieces out. But before I put that on, I'm going to add a little texture. So we're going to emboss this with this damask embossing folder. So just pull that out. So because this is one of the thinner, it's not the 3D embossing folders, you just need the embossing folder. So the platform number 1, the embossing, or sorry, then a number 3, which is your cutting plate, and then platform, oh sorry, what am I saying? Platform number 1, cutting plate 3, your embossing folder with the paper, and then another cutting plate number 3 on top of it. as opposed to the plate number 4, which you use with the 3D embossing folders. And look at this. Can you see this? Can you see, oopsie. Can you see that gorgeous texture? It's just so pretty. This looks like wallpaper, like a very old-fashioned wallpaper. And if you wanted to, you could take and do a little bit. I'm just gonna do just hopefully really subtle a tap. Maybe a little too subtle. Just adding just a little bit of the balmy blue on top, just to kind of pick up the texture a little bit and show off this gorgeous pattern. I can imagine kind of walking into one of the big fancy mansions, estates like Downton Abbey in the UK and seeing this kind of wallpaper on the walls. Okay, so just very subtle, added some balmy blue too. Now you can use liquid glue. I find. Oh, actually, one thing to note. I don't know if you can see this. Let's go back to that. On these frames, there is a little bit of a edge, so an embossed edge, and then like the corner, the mitered corner. So you do want to make sure that you get your piece going the right way. Which is the front and which is the back. All right, so I'm just going to take and adhere this to the back. Like I said, 3 inches is a perfect measurement. I didn't glue that all the way down the side, but I think it will hold. I'm debating about putting white on, or you kind of lose that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm quickly going to grab a balmy blue piece of cardstock. Actually, it's Pool Party, but it'll go. Because I think I want just to have a little bit of pattern. So then I'm going to cut this to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, and that'll just go on the front. So I think this die, the size-wise, works better for the metric sized paper as opposed to the imperial size paper, where ours is shorter and fatter than metric. And so if this was, your piece was longer and narrower, this frame would fit a little bit better, but it's all fine. I think it looks nice. I just have to always decide if I'm going to put something behind it. And because I have early espresso paper and my frame is early espresso, I'm just going to put a piece of, it's actually Pool Party, but it goes nicely with my designer series paper. There we go. That just shows off, I think, the frame a little bit better. You guys don't see me using Stamp and Seal very often, but I had it in my hand, so we will use it. All right, so there's the front of my card. And now that's for the inside, so let's not use that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the big flower. I've got a piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp it in Tuxedo Black Memento. And because this is a photopolymer, I'm going to use I have cut a piercing mat in half, and just so I have something cushy. Yeah. I like the look, sandy too. All right, so I'm just going to take and stamp that. So don't forget, if you're using particularly photopolymer stamps, you want to put something cushy. It could be a pad of grid paper, or like I take a piercing mat and cut them in half. And then while I'm got my glue out, or my ink out, I am going to stamp just a note down in the corner. And the other thing to note about photopolymer stamps is they can kind of curl and change shape. That one's got a bit of a curl to it, so we'll just readjust it. The best way, that's better. The best way to do it is so you're not trying to adjust it. Sometimes we bend them. So just take it and flop it down on your grid paper or on your desk and then pick it up. And that way it kind of goes back into the shape that it kind of wants to be in. All right, so since I pulled Pool Party instead of Balmy Blue, I am going to do just a little bit of coloring. I don't know, I guess there are blue roses. They're probably not real blue roses. They're probably just kind of dyed in some way. I'm just going to take my blending brush, pick up just a little bit of ink and just kind of go over the rose. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut it out with a die so you can go over it a little bit. And if you want to make them a little darker, I need a different brush. I need a little brush. All right, I've got an orange brush. All right, take some of the orange off of it. But I pulled some basic beige. I really should wash some of these, but that's okay. Basic beige has a little bit of green to it when I look at it, so I'm just going to take and use it. Of course, it'll look probably more brown, but that's okay. This is quite abstract, but just adding a little bit of color with my blending brush and having that vintagey look to my flower. Now I've got the die, and a piece of Post-it note tape. And I'm just going to refresh this and see if I'm seeing any comments on my Facebook. No, it's weird. The other night when I finished my video and I went back to my Facebook group, there were actually comments in there, which is why I think there's something going wonky. All right, so I just got that, a little bit of Post-it note tape. 3, and then another 3. So a few things happening tomorrow. Free shipping on orders in Canada of $100 or more. So it's a great time to stock up on, I don't know, cardstock and things before maybe the price is going up. I can't even remember what the price is going up to. I know basic white, the price is going up, but it's already been raised. But other cardstock may be going up as well. But it's a great time to stock up on some things when the price or when there's free shipping. So on orders of $100 or more, you get free shipping. And tomorrow, if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, there are, I think it's 75% off on, I'm not sure everything, refills that are available for the different Paper Pumpkin kits and other things. So if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, don't forget to check those out. That all starts at, well, 11:59, no, 11, I have to get it right, midnight Mountain Time, which is 11 p.m. Pacific. There, okay. And then, let's see, I'll use the mini dimensionals on the back of this one. It's quite narrow. So we'll just take, I don't even remember where I had this on my sketch, but we'll just leave it there. Now the other thing that is, I think this is in the suite, is basic beige ribbon. Basic beige plastic ribbon, 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter wide. So I'm just going to take and tie a bow. Ties quite nicely. Not too sticky. Sometimes when I try to fuss with them and make them smaller, the ribbon can kind of catch on itself. But this is quite nice because I just want a little tiny-ish ribbon. There, pretty good. And my little ribbon scissors, there they are. I think we'll just put it, I'm going to move this down. No, we can't. I'll move it up. And then we'll just put that on there with just a little glue dot. And then the embellishments that come with this one are called pressed flower motifs. So they're quite heavy, I have to say. So they're 2 different sizes, kind of in a brass color. Again, goes so well with the vintagey look to this whole suite of products. Okay, it's going to go down there. All right, now I need to do something on the inside of the card. So let's, I haven't used this stamp yet. So this one that looks like kind of the damask embossing folder. So let's take and I'm going to stamp it in. Thank you. I just love this suite. I can't wait to play with it some more. And I'm sure there's a right way and a wrong way. All right, we're going to go this way. No, we're going to go this way. I may get it wrong even when I just second guess myself. I did. It's upside down. That's okay. Nobody will know except you because I've told you. But anyway, see, on here it looks quite green, the basic beige, whereas let's actually see what's stamp and seal here. On my flowers, it has more of a beige look to it. All right, there we go. Definitely a vintagey card. I'm just trying to find my sketch. Here it is. So I stayed pretty true to my sketch tonight, which isn't always the case, but it's kind of fun to play with vintagey. And this suite makes it so easy. Sometimes you know we have to do a lot of distressing and using your blending brushes to kind of sponge around the edges. And this time Stampin' Up! Has made it so easy just with the look and feel of the stamps and then that gorgeous designer series paper. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed that card. I will be live again tomorrow night with a technique at 6:30 Pacific. Come join me then. Don't forget about free shipping starting tonight at midnight Mountain and going for 3 days, and also the Paper Pumpkin sale. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you aren't over on my YouTube channel watching, that's probably the best place to watch me going forward, because Facebook group, on my Facebook group, they are deleting live videos after a month. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can search Stamping with Melva YouTube and you will actually find me quite easily.